let's go back to the Galleon insider trading case. The revelation overnight that Hector Ruiz, the former CEO of Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, there's a connection between him and the case of all things. Dan Colarusso, our managing editor, Leon Metzger, former hedge fund executive at Paloma Partners, right here in our Galleon war room to walk us through the situation. Dan, tell us where Hector Ruiz fits in to the whole insider trading scheme.
You know, it's really interesting. We changed the title of our Galleon board today to Chips Ahoy, because the chip business seems to be where all this information is coming from. We got it from Moffett on the IBM side, from Bob Moffett. Now, Hector Ruiz at AMD apparently had a conversation with Danielle Chiesi from Newcastle, hedge fund business, who then passed it along to the people of Galleon. Very interesting, because we have Intel, AMD, IBM. You want bigger names in tech, you're not really going to get them, and they're hooked into this scheme in a big way. Maybe, you know, they haven't been proven. There's only allegations at this point. But right now, these are big names. These are names the kind of names we don't usually see in these investigations.
And even though nobody should be telling these things to anybody on the outside, so far, we don't have any evidence to suggest they were anything other than unwitting dupes.
Right, exactly. But they're not the usual ne'er-do-wells and brothers-in-law who get wrapped up in these things. These are real executives who really should know the difference.
All right, Leon, you've worked at a hedge fund for 18 years, Paloma Partners. You're now a professor at NYU, Yale, and Columbia. You specialize in alternative investment management, which, of course, effectively means hedge funds, a bunch of other things, too. Are you surprised by the high level of sources that it appears this insider trading ring developed?
Well, to me, this is not a hedge fund story at all. This is a story about allegations of insider trading. How do you detect insider trading? Through market surveillance, that's the best way. But I don't think this is at all a hedge fund story.
Okay, but let's talk about the market surveillance angle, because insider trading rings are not easy to crack. Are you surprised, based on your experience and observations with the SEC and potentially the Justice Department, although I doubt you ever got involved with the DOJ, but are you surprised that their market surveillance efforts were able to crack open, or at least it appears they were able to crack open, this big insider trading ring?
I don't think there's any better way of identifying insider trading than through market surveillance. So these are allegations. I don't know whether it actually took place or not, but I believe that that is the best tool, that's the best technology available at the current time.
You know what I'm wondering? Has some of the sell-offs we've seen in tech names, Google, Apple, some of the Galleon holdings, do you think that's related to this in any way, shape, or form? Do you think there's some asymmetrical thing going on? I was talking to a hedge fund risk manager yesterday, and he said people are petrified either to not get caught in any liquidations from Galleon or related cases, or maybe they're worried about themselves and they want to start getting some dry powder for their own legal defense funds. Do you think do you think because of the high-level hooks here, there's more concern in the broader market, in the hedge fund market particularly?
I think when you're talking about well-capitalized stocks where there's a large float of shares, if one fund is trying to liquidate, if anything, it would be just a short-term impact. I think people make investments based upon the fundamentals of the company.
Leon, take us back to your hedge fund days. What would it have been like had the feds come in and carted your CEO and founder away in cuffs? What goes on inside a hedge fund when that kind of thing happens?
Well, never happened at our place because our CEO is, you know.
But imagine what it would have been like. I mean, is it panic, or are there other people who just simply lock the place down and try to keep everybody on board so that there aren't other people jumping ship?
Well, I think what we see is just looking at other examples of hedge funds that ran into trouble not because of anything illegal, just bad trades. What happens, for example, is employees start looking to work for jobs elsewhere. You might have investors who are concerned about headline risk.
But does that make it inevitable that even if the charges aren't proven, the hedge fund effectively has to shut down?
Yeah, when you have such an accusation, you're going to spend so much time defending yourself that you're innocent, but by dint of the accusation, you're going to be forced to shut down.
All right, Bloomberg's managing editor, Dan Colarusso, Leon Metzger, professor at NYU, Columbia, and Yale, thank you for joining us right here in the Galleon War Room.